फास्टेस्ट क्रिकेट स्कोर अपडेट्स या सबसे डिटेल्ड स्टैट्स,
क्रिकेट के अंदर बाहर की खबरें
या हेल्दी डिबेट्स,
सबसे एक्यूरेट एनालिसिस
या फैंस का क्रेज, सबके लिए एक ही प्लेटफॉर्म, क्योंकि क्रिकेट मतलब क्रिकेट नेक्स्ट।
Hello everyone, you're watching Cricket Next. I am Surama Kaushik. It's a good day today for all Indian cricket fans as India won the second test match against England in Vizag, 106 runs victory over England. Quite a few exceptional performances, none better than Jasprit Bumrah with the ball. We'll talk about great performances in detail in this live session, but this is a special Q&A session with Vineet Ramakrishnan, who has joined us live from Vizag. He reported everything in detail for us from Vizag, and it's a special Q&A. Again, I'm saying this, which means that it's a chance for us to ask him a lot of questions and a chance for all of you to ask your questions to Vineet. First of all, Vineet, how did the crowd react when Team India won the second test match? And tell us how fans were reacting to that incredible win and performances from Bumrah, Jaiswal, Shubman Gill.
Look, the crowd reaction was just fantastic. It was a Monday still. You had a decent crowd out there in anticipation for the enthralling day for, of action, and that's what the Indian team at least delivered. England at the start, but look, there was a time when it looked like England would get away and take the game away from India when Crawley was batting, not least in the first 1 hour of play. But then again, the moment I think that Rehan Ahmed wicket was taken by Akshar Patel, the crowd really spurred up, and I think the crowd was at its peak when Jasprit Bumrah got Johnny Bairstow out and Kuldeep Yadav got Crawley out just 12 minutes, 14 minutes before the lunch session. And from there onwards, the chance of Bumrah, chance of Kuldeep echoed throughout. And Ashwin got his 499th wicket in Joe Root. Everybody was in anticipation that it could be Ashwin who will be taking his 500th
Yeah.
wicket, but that could not happen. But then again, whenever the ball was given to Ashwin, I think it was given to him half an hour after lunch session. So again, the Ashwin chant started reverberating around the stadium. There were a lot of England fans as well, quite disappointed, dejected looking England fans were there, but they also appreciated how India performed, and especially that Bumrah spell from day three. I think that Olipo wicket, I was incidentally sitting in the stands and not in the press box just to get the feel of the atmosphere, and I incidentally happened to be sitting right next to a couple of England fans, and they also like their first reaction was, "Wow, what a ball!" And then they realized, it's their batsman who has gotten out. But that's the kind of reaction, that
Yeah.
that delivery, brought about. So overall, it was a very, very, very good the crowd that came in for the all 4 days of the Vizag test. Better than Hyderabad, I would say. It's a smaller stadium than Hyderabad, 29,000 odd capacity. It was not filled to the brim, but then again there was a lot of spunk in that crowd, and of course it was, Sone Pe Suhaga type day four when Bumrah got that wicket of Anderson, if I'm not wrong.
Yeah, and Indian team must be really very happy going 1-1 to Rajkot will make them happy, but still a lot of questions are there to be answered before the third test match. Well, let's begin with our set of questions. The first one is about who do you think is the hero of this test match? Well, for me, obviously, in bits and pieces, everybody played their part, especially how Jaiswal played 209 runs. Then Shubman Gill, everybody wanted Shubman Gill to perform in this test series, and that century was more or so like a comeback from Shubman Gill. And then obviously Jasprit Bumrah. I started this live session by saying, there were a bunch of exceptional performances, but none better than Jasprit Bumrah with the ball. What he did with the ball was absolutely iconic. But for you, who is the hero of the Indian team in the second test match?
Look, there are quite a few individual performances. Something Ben Stokes also mentioned that this game had a lot of individual performances overall. Uh, Starting with Jaiswal, then Shubman Gill, Jasprit Bumrah coming in. Kuldeep Yadav had a very good, test match as well. But overall, from an impact point of view, I think the hero was absolutely Jasprit Bumrah. And then again, that 2 overs, 28th over or 30th over on day three, that those two wickets, that spell, 3 wickets in fact, and that spell in a way was the turning point for this Indian team in this match and could very well be a defining moment for the entire series as well because you know, it's to use the cliche, baseball met boom ball, and they had no answer to that. So that way, that's one thing that you always talked about that baseball, what baseball will do when they come up against quality pace, quality, bowling attack. And you had the quality of Bumrah, you had the quality of Ashwin Jadeja. Okay, they were flat, but then again you had somebody like Bumrah. So this was probably the toughest test for baseball, so to speak. And Bumrah
Yeah,
showed why is this the toughest test because on a very placid track to get that kind of movement, that reverse swing getting in to extract the kind of movement that he got was a great cricketer could only do that. Player with great skill set. James Anderson did show Indians that there's something for the Pacers there, even if it's a placid wicket. And that Bumrah spell, you're going to talk about it for a long, long time. You talk about that West Indies 7 for 8, some including the hat trick. You talk about his South Africa exploits. This is right there at the top. That spell so much inspired everybody. That was a turning point, and I always believe batters set up the games. It is the bowlers who win it, and here it
yeah,
was that's what it was. A bowler won it for you.
yeah. In one of our previous live sessions where Network 18 Group Sports editor Srinivas Rao had joined us, he said that what are we talking about? Are we talking about Pacers or are we talking about Bumrah and Anderson? Because they are not in that category of Pacers. They are something very different. They are exceptional. And you don't see them very often because they're very, very different kind of players. And you mentioned it pretty well, Vineet. Bowlers do win matches, and what Bumrah has done to the team is absolutely exceptional. Also, talking about Bumrah, when Bumrah was asked about James Anderson, he said that, I never compared myself. With James Anderson, I always have that fast bowling fan in me, and I love watching James Anderson. So I think both of them, there's a lot of respect between the two, Anderson and Bumrah, and they respect each other's style of bowling. And the other day, as I also mentioned, how Stuart Broad posted those number of stories, and he was just so happy to see how Bumrah bowled. So, a lot of people are saying that, Bumrah must have seen something from, or must have learned something from Anderson. But I think both did their job pretty well. And at the end of the day, what matters is how a Bumrah led Team India to this victory. So for us, Bumrah is the hero of the second test match. All our viewers, who was your hero of this second test, you can let us know in the comment section. And please shoot your questions for Vineet as he has joined us live from Vizag. Let's move to the second one. We need obviously the Indian team, and that leads us to the next question. Who was the weakling of the Indian team? There were a few disappointing performances, obviously from KS Bharat and Shreyas Iyer, but who, according to you, was the weakling of this team?
Look, for this particular match, I think the weakest link was Mukesh Yadav. That was a very, very bad choice of selection. That was baffling. I mean, didn't really make much of a sense. Yes, he ended up with 1 wicket, but that was, at the end of the day. But there was no real impact there from Mukesh Kumar. I mean, only viable use, I think I said this before in one of the shows, only viable use of Mukesh Kumar was just to test waters with the old ball. Is it reversing or not? Give the ball to Mukesh. If it is reversing, next over it is Bumrah and Mukesh is out. And whenever he got the opportunity, even in the later stages when he was given the ball, again he was spraying down the leg, he was bowling too full. He got that wicket, that is fine. But Mukesh Kumar surely did not do anything on that pitch. Yes, it was a placid pitch. He was probably, he's known in domestic circuit for his consistency to
Hmm.
bowl deliveries at a consistent length, be the holding, you play the holding role. Nothing of that sort. He was the one who leaked the most number of runs,
Yeah.
uninspiring bowling, so to speak. You can't really fault that guy. I think Jamie had said in one of those sessions that he's better off bowling under helpful conditions with South Africa or in New Zealand, where he'll probably be able to, to do a bit better. But on Indian conditions, just looked flat. Not that he's a bad bowler. He's done
Yeah.
very good in Indian conditions, but it's just that you don't really see him at that level right now. Need to improve a lot. So he was definitely the weak link in this test match. When you talk about overall, you did talk about disappointment. Shreyas Iyer not converting his start. Shrikar Bharat not really great with
Yeah.
the bat. But again, look, Shrikar Bharat's primary skill set is keeping, and Rahul Dravid, as you mentioned, they are very much happy with what Shrikar Bharat gives you as a keeper. Batting, of course, there are few foul shots that he played. So yes, Mukesh, but still, I'll say beyond more than KS Bharat, it's Mukesh Kumar, and I really don't see how does he fit in the scheme of things for the Rajkot test. They should probably get in a Siraj back. That's what I would say if you're going with Mukesh again in Rajkot, which would again be a very flat track. India would not be able to plug that gap. I feel sad. I feel so.
Hmm. But Vineet, before this test series and during the first two test matches, there were a lot of discussions around, not keeping two pacers in the team. What are your thoughts? You have seen two tests closely, and do you think that there shouldn't be two pacers in the team now?
Looking at what Hyderabad track offered, it had spin right from the first day itself. So you would think that you probably want to have four spinners. You have some quality spinners with Jadeja, with Aksar, with Ashwin. You could also add a Kuldeep, or you could also add a Washington Sundar, right? So that was the logic. So it's not a case that you have to go with four spinners the entire series. You cannot have that kind of an predetermined set. You have to look at the pitch and accordingly that you bowl. And here again, look, we all were talking about Sundar as the fourth spinner because you did not have Jadeja, right?
Hmm.
You wanted
Yeah.
a Kuldeep in, and you wanted to have Jadeja's batting, to plug that gap. So Sundar was the most ideal option there. Then again, you saw this pitch, it held up well. There wasn't much turn. It was all more about variable down. So surprisingly, this pitch held up well. How is Rajkot going to play? I think that should determine the playing 11, and not that you go with two pacers or three spinners or one pacers, four spinners. It has to be dependent on how the track looks like. Again, here you go with two pacers, but why Mukesh Kumar? Why not Mohammad Siraj? Yes, he was released from the squad to play Ranji Trophy. That's a thing that you would think, if you have a better bowler, why are you going ahead with him? If you don't, then might as well have added a Washington Sundar. Going into Rajkot
Yeah.
also, you're not really sure if whether Jadeja would be playing.
Yeah.
Then what do you do in that case? I still think they should replace with then Washington Sundar with Mukesh Kumar. Rajkot, again, Rajkot, as I said, is a very, very flat track. That also
Yeah.
begs the question that will counter my own point that when it is such a flat track, you probably need somebody to take that burden off Bumrah, share that
Hmm.
responsibility. So you probably need an extra pacer just for that. You just cannot rely on Bumrah throughout, right? Bumrah has played two straight test matches now, back-to-back test matches.
Yeah.
He's bowled a good amount of overs. Yes, of course, there's a 10-day gap, but you probably need to give certain bit of, rest for Bumrah as well. So you may want to have an extra pacer just to, share that burden. Would that be a Mukesh Kumar or a Siraj or an Avesh? That's anybody's guess. We still are 10 days out from the Rajkot test. Most players have the team has dispersed. They all have gone back to their home bases. So once they come back, I think probably around February 12 or February 13, then probably they will decide who to go ahead with. But again, to
Yeah.
your point, it depends on the track. Yeah, we cannot predetermine that if this is the fixed format or fixed combination that you're gonna go with in the entire series. It will depend track to track.
Yeah. Well, let's wait and watch. And nobody knows what Team India is thinking right now, especially for the upcoming three test matches. Only time will tell what's on India's mind, especially regarding their 11. Will they go with two pacers or not? Only time can tell this. Well, let's move to the next question. Next question is about baseball, Vinny. ऑब्वियसली इंग्लैंड इंडिया में आई हो या कहीं पे भी हो, बैसबॉल तो उनके साथ चलता जाता है. सो बैसबॉल पे क्वेश्चन बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट है, बट दिस टाइम अराउंड द क्वेश्चन इज हु कैन पुट बैसबॉल इन पीसेस. What do you think? Obviously, we know one's Jasprit Bumrah, so I would request you to please name someone else other than Bumrah so that we can have a good chat around that player as well.
First of all, I'll just rephrase this question. Uh, who can not put baseball into pieces, who can probably shred baseball into pieces, or who can put baseball, into shock. Uh, who can be that person? Look, you really don't need to shred baseball into pieces. That's my point. Take here, because I'll take a cue from what Rahul Dravid said. He was asked, "How did you counter baseball? Was this in essence countering baseball?" He said, "Just about." We just about managed to counter. So that's what you probably need. You just need to be, just about try to get yourself up and above that baseball kind of approach. You don't really need to put it to rest in, to so to speak. Who's that player who can do that? It's a collective effort, to be honest. Baseball, again, I think one of our producers, Kanu, put it really well. It's that baseball approach. It's not just about hitting; it's about that approach. It's about that mindset. And again, for baseball, it's not one particular player who's doing that baseball stuff. Everybody is doing that, from Ben Duckett to Crawley to Pope to Root to
Yeah.
Basto to Stokes. Everybody is doing that. So to counter that collective baseball approach, you need a collective, counter plan from the Indian team. So I would not say I would pinpoint one person to do that. It has to be a collective effort right from the top. Yashasvi Jaiswal showed you that. I mean, he can also baseball his way. Shreyas Iyer is somebody I always thought was a very good player of spin. He still is, but some mental, issues he seems to have in terms of his approach to batting, when he's in the 20s. Again, I
Yeah.
don't really have a player who can pinpoint apart from Umrah, to be very honest. I just don't. If you have to ask me that, give me one other name, alternate name, I'd probably say Kuldeep Yadav because of what he did here in Vizag. Very few overs he got, but he managed to sow the seeds of doubt in the England players for that, going for that reverse sweep or not, and he was able to take wickets. And of course, a spinner is always a wicket-taking proposition whenever batters try to attack. So I think he's one player. If they are not smart enough and try to go after somebody like Kuldeep Yadav, he is somebody who can shred baseball into pieces, and you would never know what hit them.
No, you are absolutely right there. And with that comes my next question. Do you think Kuldeep Yadav should be in the 11 for the next three tests?
Who can be India's biggest threat, or who should be in the 11?
No, 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 no. This is the next question. But before this, because you mentioned Kuldeep Yadav's name, I have a question for you. Do you really think Kuldeep Yadav should be in India's 11 for the next three tests?
Oh yeah, if Jadeja is not coming back, most definitely Kuldeep should be in there. But if Jadeja comes back, you also have an Axar, you also have an Ashwin. That's a very, very, a tough proposition. But look, again, Kuldeep has not done anything wrong. He got an opportunity here. He comes back with 3 wickets in the first innings, a couple of one at least, or no wickets here because he didn't bowl that much. 1 wicket, probably wicket, of course. So he shows he has the value. It comes back to that kind of an area where we used to debate about Ravindra Jadeja, Akshar Patel.
Yeah,
Akshar Patel, whenever he got the opportunity, he will get wickets. And his performance is so good that you invariably started thinking, we need to find the place for these two in the 11. And there
yeah,
were talks about you might as well, make Ashwin beg because you want to have these two players. So it's pretty much the same kind of a debate now with Kuldeep. It's very difficult to put him in all the remaining three test matches if Ravindra Jadeja comes back. Of course, when you're playing in Dharamshala, I don't think that India will go with three spinner like Kuldeep
yeah,
Yadav. They'll probably prefer a spinner who can also bat a bit that way. Aksar trumps that way. Ravindra Jadeja trumps that way. Ravichandran Ashwin trumps. It's a
yeah,
case where if I have to put the analogy of those cricketing cards, football cards that you have, where you have player ratings, right? So an
yeah,
Ashwin, a Jadeja, and Aksar would be 95, 95, 95. Kuldeep Yadav 90, and that 5 point is just because of his batting. So how do you choose? It's
batting.
very difficult to choose that way. So somebody will have to lose out, and unfortunately, it will be Kuldeep Yadav. But if he is given this confidence, saying that whenever you will get the opportunity, but you will have to
Yeah,
perform, or you will perform. So if he has that kind of a mindset, that okay, whenever I get the opportunity, I will have to perform, and I can perform. That's very good for the Indian team. But look, this is the Indian team, one of the best teams in the world, and we are talking about the best 11 in this best 11.
Yeah.
Somebody is bound to miss out. For now, it
Hmm.
is Kuldeep Yadav, unfortunate. But in
Hmm.
Rajkot Test, if Ravindra Jadeja is back, I don't see Kuldeep Yadav, to be
Okay.
honest.
Okay, well, let's see what will happen there in Rajkot. For now, let's move to our next question. And that question is about who can be the biggest threat for Team India in the third test match. Now, we saw the first two test matches. We saw how England team performed. क्या लगता है विनीत सबसे ज्यादा खतरा किससे है भारतीय टीम को?
Uh, I would say James Anderson if he plays. I'm not sure if he played the Rajkot Test because James Anderson had hinted that in the entire five series, England would end up playing all the four pacers they're traveling with. Mark Wood, James Anderson, Gus Atkinson, and Ollie Robinson, and all four are different. They have different skill set. They have different approach to bowling as well. So it'll be very interesting how things play out here for Rajkot in England. For England, James Anderson, if he plays, I think he would be the biggest one because again, on a very lifeless track, he's somebody who can extract something and can trouble the Indian batters. If he plays, that is. If I talk about somebody who's a sure shot to play all the three remaining tests and could be the biggest threat are the openers. Ben Duckett,
Okay.
Jack Crawley. Baseball approach you talk about, it begins right from the top, and Duckett, Crawley have been very instrumental in that. Duckett
Yes.
averages near about 70 into the Asball era with a strike rate of 90. Zach Crawley near about on 30, 36, 37, strikes rate
Hmm.
at 70. So these two at the top provide the kind of impetus that is built on by somebody like an Oli Pope or a Joe Root or Johnny Bairstow. And you saw it in Hyderabad. You saw it here
Yeah.
in Vizag as well. The starts Ben Duckett was giving, the start Zach Crawley was giving, and India were under pressure. It was
Yeah.
unfortunate that Ben Duckett was getting out defending the ball. Ironically, he was not converting the starts. But Ben Duckett
Yeah.
is somebody. If he gets going, it will be very very difficult to stop him. So I'll put my money on Ben Duckett, who would be India's threat because in Rajkot again, as I said, flat track, there won't be uneven bounds, there won't be extra turn or anything. At least for the first two for the first innings or the second innings, till the day three or day two. And if Ben Duckett goes on beyond that 20 that he's scoring right now, he will be a menace for these Indian bowlers because he'll strike at 90, and you won't realize that at 27 ball 28, ठीक है 110 पे मारा है. But imagine if that gets converted to a 100 ball 150 or a 150 ball 200. That will be tough. So I would
Very
put my money on Ben Duckett being the threat for biggest threat for India in the upcoming three remaining
okay.
test matches.
Team India really needs to be careful when you come to Ben Duckett. For now, let's move to the final question, and that's the most important question we need. And I think that's a question where each and every person will have very different answers, and we'll talk about a few players around this question only. But first up, let's take the direct question: who should be dropped from India's 11 for the third Test match?
From the second test, you drop Mukesh Kumar. That is the first name that I will take. I know most of the viewers who are watching us and most of our panelists would say drop Srikar Bharat also. But then again, I'll probably give him the long rope because if you are dropping a player, they have to be really, really bad, or it should be a prolonged, phase of not performing. And it has not been the case with Srikar Bharat. He's played the Australia Test. That's about it, I think. And this is his second Test series, if I'm not wrong. Give him a longer rope. He should learn. He is learning. Something Dravid also said that, ठीक है, there were a couple of shots that he should not have played. But that's how he will realize and put a value to his wicket.
Hmm.
And again, we are talking about Bharat the batter, but Bharat the keeper gives you a very, very good safe option behind
Hmm.
the stumps. I saw one comment from sports fan talking about Bharat to be dropped. Look, I'm very close to that also. I'll say if even if you pick a Dhruv Jurel, I will not be disappointed, so to speak. But for me, you drop Mukesh, you get in another pacer, Siraj, or if you want to go in with a spinner, you go with a Washington Sundar, provided Ravindra Jadeja isn't coming back, provided Rahul isn't coming back, provided Virat Kohli is coming back. If these three are back, then the whole lot of people will be dropped. Shreyas Iyer could be the one to be dropped to
Yeah,
accommodate KL Rahul. What do you do with Virat Kohli? Who do you drop then? Do you drop a Gill? I'll be a big headache. So one of the three, I'm not. What we are hearing is Rahul may not be back and Ravindra Jadeja may be back. Virat
okay.
Kohli, there is absolutely nothing that we have got to know about Kohli, whether he'll be back or not. If he is back, he's a straight shoe in at number four. That
Hmm.
means Shreyas Iyer is the one who will be the fall guy, Rahul coming at number five. Bharat over Jurel, I won't be disappointed. I mean, if you want to give
Okay.
that guy a chance, the youngster, you may go ahead and do it. But
Hmm.
that drop of Bharat, I wouldn't see any just proper justification to that. Don't look at
Okay.
his just batting purely. You have to give him a longer rope in the batting. Does he make a major blunder in terms of keeping? If he starts doing that, then okay, drop Bharat. But till the time he's okay doing his keeping, I'll say just give him two more games and see and tell him, boss, you know, your rope is getting short in terms of
Hmm.
batting. Buck up, just stay there. You don't need to be fancy. You don't have to do baseball or anything. Just play your natural game and see at least for this series. If he fails in these two matches or three matches, then fine, you go ahead and play Jurel. Maybe in the final test you play Jurel if he fails in the next two. But I don't want to see Bharat to be dropped. But I am very much with sports fan who gave this comment that Bharat
Yeah.
could be dropped. Yeah, I could see that happening.
Mukesh and Bharat should be dropped. That's what sports fans said. Vineet, you've already mentioned about Virat Kohli, Jadeja, and KL Rahul, but I'll again go back to Kohli's point. Please help us understand what's the current situation around Virat Kohli. Dravid said that they will check with Kohli whether he will be available for the third test or not.
No, no, no,
But
no, no,
he,
no. That was
oh,
not the case. No, no, no. He did
nothing,
not say
nothing
that he will
special
check with
happened.
Kohli.
Okay.
No, no, no.
Hmm.
That's wrong interpretation. He did not say that he will check with Kohli. I'll tell you the question was put up that what is the availability of Virat Kohli, and Rahul Dravid very bluntly said it is not up to him. You will have to ask the selectors, and when the selectors convene to select the squad for the remaining three test matches, then only you will get an idea about where Kohli is, and what is his status. So Rahul Dravid clearly denied anything regarding Virat Kohli. He did not say that Virat Kohli, he has spoken to Virat Kohli or Virat Kohli has said this or nothing. No, no, nothing of that sort had happened. Nobody is talking anything about Virat Kohli. We all can only hope that he comes back for the third test, but it's a suspense. Till the time India don't announce the squad, you don't know anything about Virat Kohli.
Hmm. And there is no buzz, also the outside buzz about Virat Kohli that he'll be coming for
Nothing,
the third.
absolutely nothing. Nobody is
Okay.
talking anything about Virat Kohli. As BCCI mentioned, his privacy has to be respected. Very clear. It was a very long and very detailed press release that they sent out. Generally, BCCI doesn't do that whenever a player is taking rest or happen.
Hmm.
So it could be. It's a very sensitive issue, to be honest. And
Hmm.
let's trying to speculate over it and trying to see what the outside buzz is won't be right for us to
Yep.
even discuss. This is one thing that we'll probably have to wait for an official announcement or an official channel of information to come through.
Okay. Yes. And with that, our questions are over, but viewers have a lot of questions for you, Vineet. Would request our producer to shoot the questions as soon as possible so we can take. Okay, we'll first take Sonu Paid this question. When we will have India selection for the next three tests?
Uh, Maybe 3 days, 4 days before when the team gets together. The teams have all dispersed right now. In fact, I'm at the airport. I could see Dhruv and Saurabh Kumar taking a flight back to Delhi, they are based. So most likely it would be around February 12 or February 13, around maybe that time, February 11, 12, 13. That is the 3 dates. Most likely around 12, they probably would announce the team. That is the time that they'll come back together and convene. The team will also be there, and selectors most likely will be taking a call, on February 12 or 13, May 11 or 12.
Okay. Okay. Next question, please. Reports are already out that Bumrah will be rested in Rajkot. Yes, that's right,
I
Vineet. We're
mean,
seeing a lot of any.
it's again speculations. Yeah, it's very much speculations. There are two things about it. As I mentioned earlier, I did hint that there's a too much workload on Bumrah because he's going back to back. But between today and Rajkot, we also have a 10-day rest. So I'm not really sure how truthful or how credible these reports are. Reports would fly out here and there. And then again, look, India looking to win this Test series, right? I mean, if you sit out Bumrah, who's going to be your pacer? You come bring back Siraj, and all of a sudden it's just a very different look. I mean, you probably need Siraj, and I am guessing because you have these 10 days rest, so you will see Bumrah playing, and unless there is any injury concern, which we did not spot. We did not spot at all. There was nothing of any, hobbling or anything of that sort. Reports speculative enough, but I do see Bumrah playing the Rajkot test, and if he is not, there will be some injury concern or something of that sort. Rest is probably not going to happen because look, Siraj arrested, he is released to play Ranji Trophy. I don't know if he played Ranji Trophy, Bumrah wouldn't, right?
Yeah.
If he wants a break, that's a different issue. But I don't think somebody like Bumrah, who's in a form like this, would want a break in the middle of a series like this. He's somebody who wants
Yeah.
to be in the thick of the action. Until and unless
Yeah.
there is an injury concern, I don't see Bumrah getting rested for the Rajkot test.
Also, Vineet, any word on Mohammad Shami?
Oh, it's not looking good to be honest. We had a few reports, and I did spoke to a few people. The ankle injury that he had, and his rehabilitation has not been to the pace at which you would have liked to see him. So I don't think Shami would be available for this test series at least because that ankle niggle that he had, it's taking a bit more time, a bit more complicated it seems to in terms of making a recovery.
Okay. Okay. Would request our producer to please shoot the questions. Ujjwal Moray. श्रेयस अय्यर स्पिन क्यों नहीं अच्छी खेल रहे हैं ये सवाल है उज्जवल का.
यार ये मतलब ये सवाल इट्स एक्चुअली वेरी मतलब वेरी रेलेवेंट क्वेश्चन दैट ही इज वन ऑफ द बेस्ट प्लेयर्स ऑफ स्पिन आपने देखा है व्हाइट बॉल क्रिकेट में वो जिस तरीके से स्पिन को डोमिनेट करते हैं इवन इन हिज फर्स्ट सीरीज टेस्ट सीरीज यहाँ इंडिया में खेला ही हैज बीन बाय फार द वेरी बेस्ट प्लेयर ऑफ स्पिन अब दिक्कत उनको यही आ रही है दिक्कत क्या उनके उनका माइंडसेट उस तरीके से हो गया दैट ही इज ट्राइंग टू बी मोर अग्रेसिव अल्ट्रा एग्रेसिव एज जेमी वेरी राइटली मेंशन कि जब वो पहले हैदराबाद टेस्ट में आउट हुए थे द काइंड ऑफ शॉट जिस हार्टली को मार के आउट हुए थे वो आप 100 मारने के बाद वैसे शॉट मारते हो आप
Yeah.
35 पे मार रहे हो वैसे शॉट आज भी यू आर ऑन 29 यू आर ट्राइंग टू डांस ऑन द ट्रैक टू टॉम हार्टली ऐसा नहीं कि नहीं करना चाहिए बट आप रिकैलिब्रेट कर सकते हो अपने आप को मेरे को लग रहा है उनका एक ये उनके माइंडसेट में ऐसा है कि यार मैंने 20 मार दिया आप मेरे को थोड़ा सा चला के खेलना है उस
हाँ.
चला के खेलने के चक्कर में ही वो आउट हो रहे हैं ही मे नॉट हैव टू डू दैट प्रेशर होगा उनको भी लग रहा होगा यार मेरे को थोड़ा चला के खेलूंगा बेसबॉल जैसा अप्रोच में भी थोड़ा ट्राई करूं बट ही दैट इज नॉट वर्किंग आउट फॉर हिम तो ही जस्ट हैव टू रिकैलिब्रेट हिज अप्रोच व्हेनेवर ही गेट्स दैट स्टार्ट उनको थोड़ा मेरे हिसाब से ये है कि 20 से 50 के बीच में ना उनको थोड़ा रुक के खेलना चाहिए कि थोड़ा मैं 50 तक आऊं देन प्रोबेबली ट्राई एंड गो फॉर योर शॉट्स बिकॉज आई थिंक हैदराबाद का फर्स्ट इनिंग्स अटैकिंग शॉट खेलते हुए आउट हुए वाइजैक अटैकिंग शॉट खेलते हुए आउट हुए so it's you could see a pattern there that it's not that
Yeah.
good balls are not getting him out. It's just because of his own mistakes that he's getting out. So इस वजह
Yeah.
से I'm saying कि थोड़ा recalibrate उनको करना पड़ेगा और बिल्कुल सही बात थोड़ा दादागिरी ज्यादा हो गया लग रहा है थोड़ा स्वैग थोड़ा ज्यादा हो गया उनको थोड़ा देखना पड़ेगा या स्वैग
स्वैग
थोड़ा
आजकल
कम करो
उनका
थोड़ा रन
इंस्टाग्राम
बनाओ
पे बहुत नजर आ रहा है उनके
क्योंकि बात
वीडियोस.
पोजीशन की आ गई है कोहली और राहुल अगर आ गए ना आप बैठ जाओगे फिर
That's right. चलिए next question. फयाज लिख रहे हैं इंडिया needs to redefine test cricket. It is not about breaking baseball to pieces. It is about creating a new ball. India's ball.
So we define test cricket. It's not about breaking records. It's about creating new ball as well. I don't need. I don't think India need to redefine Test cricket. They just have to be very good at what they are doing. Back their skills. यशस्वी जायसवाल ने दिखाया कि आपको टेस्ट क्रिकेट आप वो उससे ट्रेडिशनल तरीके से खेल सकते हो and you will still be very effective. You just have to do that. देखो इस गेम में भी कोई बेसबॉल किसी ने कुछ किया नहीं. ये आज जो
Yeah.
मैच जीते हैं कुछ रीडिफाइन थोड़ा ना हुआ है.
Mm.
SSC Jaiswal scored 200 of 250 generally. Shubman Gill scored 100. आपके टॉप ऑर्डर ने रन बनाए. फिर आपका बॉलर आया, लीड बॉलर. He took that wicket. So it's just about realizing those moments and winning those clutch moments. And also
Yep.
it has to be of the captaincy. अगर आपको captaincy को
Mm.
थोड़ा
True.
proactive करना पड़ेगा. So there is nothing about redefining Test cricket. At least from an Indian point of view, मेरे को ये लगता है baseball चलो मेरे निकल हम आइडिया लेकर आए हैं. But look at that. I mean, they also been losing. This is a game they could have easily drawn, maybe. They end up
Yeah.
losing it. But उनका mindset है कि हार के कोई दिक्कत नहीं है. But I don't think
हाँ.
India should redefine. They just have to, make the right selection choices and just do what they've been doing. There's a reason why India has been unbeaten in the last decade or so in Indian conditions. कुछ redefine नहीं किया ना उन्होंने. चलो
Yeah.
पिच के बारे में आप बात कर सकते हैं, but it is the same set of batters and bowlers who've been delivering goods for you. So there's no need to
That's
redefine,
true.
so to speak. We
Yeah.
can only take one more question.
Okay, yes. We'll take just last question and request our producer to take the last one. सरफराज जुरेल को डेब्यू करने का मौका मिलेगा इस सीरीज में? ये तो बहुत बड़ा सवाल है, मुझे लगता है।
Jurel, I am very much certain that he will. Jurel, I am very much certain that he will. सरफराज का मुश्किल है क्योंकि we are guessing Kohli and Rahul would be back, right?
Okay,
तो
yep,
बहुत मुश्किल होगा क्योंकि रजत पाटीदार को भी बैठना ही
yep.
पड़ेगा अगर राहुल सब आगे तो आई एम वेरी हाईली डाउटफुल कि सरफराज को मिलेगा. अगर उसको डेब्यू देना है तो आई थिंक राजकोट इज एक्चुअली द बेस्ट ट्रैक टू गिव हिम अ डेब्यू. But since Kohli and Rahul will come back, I don't think that is going to happen. Jurel, I am very much certain that he will get a debut sooner than later.
Okay. Well, for all our viewers, would request you to please please post your questions on our social media handles. You can also tag Vineet on Twitter. He'll answer you there, or you can send your questions to us, and we'll take all those questions in our next live session. Well, thank you so much, Vineet, for joining with us. He was here for this special Q&A session live from Vizag. Had great fun talking to you, and especially with all your live reports from Vizag. Thank you so much, Vineet, for all the reports and for this session as well.
Thank you. And to the viewers also, thank you very much for tuning in and for your questions. Thank you.
फास्टेस्ट क्रिकेट स्कोर अपडेट्स या सबसे डिटेल्ड स्टैट्स
क्रिकेट के अंदर बाहर की खबरें
या हेल्दी डिबेट्स,
सबसे एक्यूरेट एनालिसिस
या फैंस का क्रेज, सबके लिए एक ही प्लेटफॉर्म, क्योंकि क्रिकेट मतलब क्रिकेट नेक्स्ट.